But before we blame Kishimoto,
we have to decide who to blame for Star Wars.
Lucas is far and away.
He's left. He is gone.
I really thought... Okay, hold on. Guys, that's the end. Everybody, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for coming into the podcast.
Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Of course, podcast is still going to continue to come out.
Yeah, we're going to do next week.
Yeah, and then...
The week after is probably going to be late, though.
Yeah, it'll probably be late, but it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to miss any, so that's fine. Yeah, tune into WoolieVersus if you want to see more of all the things I mentioned, Naruto and Table Lords. And then Saturday fun streams are continuing to be a thing. Saturday, we're just going to pop on whatever the fuck, whether it's Assault Party or a Table Lords. It's going to be a good time so far. Everybody's enjoyed it. Tune in for that. Or you can also do your thing before we begin.
Oh, yeah, I'm streaming on twitch.tv/AngrySpat. Just check that out.
All right. And now we're doing the spoiler cast for Star Wars Episode 9.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of the Skywalker.
All right, so if you don't want to get spoiled on this movie, if you haven't seen it, fucking leave right now. All right, it's your fault now.
Okay, now that's the time. That's the time. There you go. That's the buffer.
Hit me.
Okay, well, I'm surprised in the sense that I really came in here after you tweeted out that you enjoyed your movie-going experience, and I forgot what else you said.
It felt like JJ walked into a room with a poop on the floor that said Rian Johnson on it, and someone told him to mop it up, and he just kind of spread it around the floor.
But whatever you wrote, I definitely walked out of there going like, oh, I guess he liked it.
I did like it.
And
I also hated it.
Okay. So
depending on what 5-minute span of the movie I was watching.
Okay, so it's a little more complex.
It is. My feelings on this film are very complex.
Okay. Because I came in sitting down, ready to go, Woolie, you know that you're bad at improvising your thoughts, so piece them together as best as you can.
Yeah.
And be ready for the possibility that you're going to shout me down on them.
No.
Because I have some fucking problems with Episode 9. And I can see how divisive it is.
Yeah.
In the same way that The Last Jedi was divisive.
I have a lot of parts that I find to be so bad that they're hilarious. And that's enjoyable in its own sense. I have a couple parts that I genuinely really liked. But overall, I'm just left feeling like, oh, okay. Right in the middle. Right in the middle. Fucking.
So here's the thing. For me, a lot of these things, it's like it's due to circumstance. This movie, for whatever it is, happens to be the end of a 9-film arc.
Yeah.
Which puts so much more weight on it and is coming off the tail ends of something that completely swerved.
Yeah.
So it's got to unswerve.
So the movie decides that it not only has to be the end of a 9-film arc, it also has to be 2 movies. And it is 2 movies.
No, it's 3. Oh. It's a trilogy.
Okay, hit me. Because for me, it was Journey to Getting the Rock, and then everything after that.
Because here, okay. So here's how I'm gonna. I wrote down a lot of notes.
Yeah, let's hit it.
And I'm gonna come at it this way. All right. First of all, whenever we refer to The Last Jedi, the understanding will be that for most people, you're referring to that as the bad.
Yeah.
Right. But here's how I felt about The Last Jedi. Right. Here's what there are 4 things about that movie that I liked. The first thing that I liked about The Last Jedi, so that it's
yeah, no, I think I agree with you on most of these, actually.
I fucking love Tired Luke.
Yeah, Tired Luke's good.
Tired Luke is great.
I don't mind Tired Luke.
Because that is basically what he became in real life.
Sure.
And so him being like, man, fuck all that. You don't need Luke.
Tired Luke doesn't bother me.
Tired Luke is great. All right? I love the Lightspeed Kamikaze.
Sure, it's cool.
It's a cool thing.
You even see it in Rise of Skywalker at the end in one, quick montage shot. One of the Star Destroyers that gets blown up in the ending montage is spliced in half with the streaks going through it. So people have learned to kill themselves for a greater cause.
Holy shit. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
It happened there.
Yeah.
Wow. So someone going down probably.
Yeah, I think it's the one that's over the fucking Ewoks.
Okay. Where you're just like, yeah, that's if I'm going down, I'm gonna hit that button.
Yeah.
That's
Alternatively, you could just cause ships to do that and point them.
Okay. So the movie getting meta and being like nothing matters, right?
Yeah.
When you hear that and when I say that, a lot of the time I'm referring to the fact that it's like twisting things that you thought were setups.
Sure.
Right? So the one that I liked about that, I didn't mind the idea that your parents are no one.
I like that.
Because it was like, oh, this is where you're taking the story. That's fine. We can have a good story coming out of that.
I didn't like that. I really, really didn't like that it turned out to be like, yeah, I was just faking, not remembering. That was terrible. But the idea, because I hate, and this is my biggest problem about Rise of Skywalker. I fucking hate how everything is like almost monarchistic magic wizard family.
Okay.
It's so fucking incestuous and awful.
Well, except there's one thread that isn't that I'm going to bring up, which is one of the things I liked there as well. So the idea that you parents are no one, is I'm totally fine with that. It reminds me of the kid with the broom, right, or whatever. It's just like, yeah, there's a little bit of that can happen. So whatever things, you know. And the idea that what are you going to do with that? If that's what your story wants to be, you can tell a good story of like, okay, you're not anyone special. Your legacy doesn't matter. Being the chosen one doesn't matter. It's what you're gonna do with what you do have, right?
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan screaming, "You were the chosen one!" Like as
stupid.
Yeah, that as being a like fuck the fuck, you know.
All that shit was dumb. I hated it.
Because that stuff was dumb, and because we saw this very flawed Jedi Order.
Yeah.
The idea that Luke is like, man, fuck those stupid Jedis.
Yeah, great, fine.
You're like, yeah, actually, they were dumb in a bunch of ways too, and the movie's actually calling that out.
Yeah.
So that's satisfying in TLJ.
Great.
And then the last thing is the premise of the idea in the same thing we just discussed, that that fuck the light side, fuck the dark side, we might be able to find another way.
Yes.
Right?
And that's I think the movie's biggest problem with me is that the best part about it is the fucking shot that they didn't take. So we talked about it when the movie came out, and Kylo being all evil, holding his hand out to Rey and being like, let's do a new thing. Let's do a brand new fucking thing. It'll be so cool. It'll be totally different. It won't be light side or dark side. It'll be some in between. Maybe it'll be gray.
And she's like, no, you come to me.
Right? And then be like, and them not doing it is where that story totally fails.
Because the idea of literally even just like having a discussion, having a compromise, a meet in the middle, it's not a Star Wars move.
Yeah.
It's not a good versus evil move to do that, but that's such an interesting thought to follow that through.
If the movie had ended with a shot of them like shaking hands and then nothing happened after that, I would think a lot more favorably about that movie than I do now.
At the same time, you do then have to start addressing things like, okay, but what about all the bullshit you did, right?
Yeah.
Even if I'm gray, that doesn't mean you didn't do a lot of horrible things.
Yeah.
But now we can follow through and figure out together what that means after we have this moment of, okay, for now, the new thing. So, the cowardice and backing out of the gray.
Oh, it would have been so cool.
Is terrible.
Don't set things up.
Yeah.
And have, like, I think one of the worst things you can do for your story is have the story go, hey, what if this happened?
What if this happened?
And everyone goes, yo, that'd be really cool. And then go, nah, just kidding. Like, that sucks, man.
Assassin's Creed 3.
That sucks.
Yeah, what if this happened? But it didn't, though. Ah, gotcha. You mad.
You're mad that you're not getting to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And me being okay with tired Luke means, like...
See, I'm okay with tired Luke. I think the reason why Luke is tired is terrible. Is awful. Like, his character deciding, hey, I'm just going to murder this kid. I'm just going to kill him. Is, like, so nonsensical compared to, like, everything that came before.
But that, like him having that moment, like, maybe I'm wrong on this, right? But to me, that's a moment where you go, the Force and the light side and everything I know about how bad this can go, because I can feel it, right? Tells me the right thing to do is to do this in this moment. And then he goes, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. When the good guys are telling you that, like, the right thing to do is to follow your heart, search your feelings, and do the right thing. And he goes, what the no! This is stupid, right? That's something I can understand. And if that's
here's the part where that breaks down. You know, I can understand that from a lot of characters. You know who I can understand it from? Luke. You know why? Because when Luke is beating down his robot monster father,
yes,
who is a genocidal maniac the galaxy has never seen,
yeah,
and he sees that he's like in a pathetic, weakened position, he goes, "No way, man. I won't do it. I would never kill this guy, even if I'm wrong, blah, blah, blah." But then when his nephew, who has literally done nothing, is asleep in his bed, he goes to him and goes, "Yeah, I gotta cut him. But I gotta cut him."
I don't think this is good. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on the time for you, but I'm not saying I don't feel it's a no way, man, in that moment, because I think Return of the Jedi, especially the way it starts with him going to fucking Jabba's place, is actually setting up Luke to be a darker version of what he was in Empire.
Yeah.
Given what just happened to him. And you're starting to see him possibly embracing the dark side-ish, and maybe he's doing a little bit more of an aggressive and it's not like, it's a little bit more like, oh, there's a chance he could fall here.
Sure, but the climax,
and then he doesn't fall.
The climax of Jedi is him throwing his lightsaber away and going, "No, I won't stab Space Hitler because I'm a Jedi, and Jedis don't stab Space Hitler if Space Hitler is cowering like a pathetic asshole."
Yeah,
and
it's not
person aging up and nothing tragic happening to him before that, going, "Oh, I had some bad visions. I better kill my nephew." Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That's, you know what? It's not even. It is not even a fully defendable point.
Yeah.
Right? But it is like, in that moment, if that's the thought process where he's kind of like, man, this shit is leading me down a stupid path.
Yeah.
In these impulses, and that's how it played out. Then I that's how I felt.
I do like the reveal being like, wait, what am I doing? This is stupid.
What am I doing? This
and
is
it
stupid.
being a misunderstanding.
Yeah. But having that moment goes against what the same person that would have done the same.
And it's like, why would he get dumber with age? Like, why would he become less wise with age? That makes no sense.
Okay. No, you've convinced me.
Right?
I'll accept that.
So that's my big problem with that. I also think it's like lame that he dies to do almost nothing.
I do think that like, he I'm not like, they weren't hinting at him being anyway. Like I think that like whatever.
You know what? I know how to break off from this point. You know what's crazy? We're talking about a spoiler cast for Rise of Skywalker, and when I walked out of Rise of Skywalker, all I could think about was The Last Jedi. Because Rise of Skywalker is so desperate to course correct. It's like feverish in its speed away from the last movie. I've never seen anything like it. It's fucking nuts. Rose is never mentioned by name. She's there, but like, her name is never spoken aloud.
So in that, right, let's go into what you like about
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
I think every single bit with C-3PO nailed. I love C-3PO. And I think they did a really decent job of actually giving him a reason to exist in the film, which the last two really fucking didn't.
Apparently he'd been asking for that for a while now.
Yeah, and it was a good decision because Anthony Daniels is the shit and his raw robot charm comes through.
Okay.
I
thought the movie was pretty.
Oh, yeah, no, it looked great. Looked fantastic.
Here's the other thing I like. The new cast is likable.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of those things that you have to worry about because the prequel cast was not.
I think Boyega and
Finpo.
Finpo,
bro.
It sucks for Rey because she's supposed to be part of that gang, but it's all about Finpo.
Finpo, bro. They're cool, right? It's a likable cast.
Yeah.
And this movie reminded me that I'm like, like, even if you don't have to do, like, even if you're not echoing the past, I like these characters enough to be like, let's see what they're up to. I thought they were a likable cast, right? Chewie got the medal.
Yeah,
Yay.
that was crazy.
Right? Wedge came out. Yay.
Alive, shockingly.
Right? Fucking Hux got done it. He got done it for the most fucking basic bitch reasons.
I can appreciate a plot twist. So the Hux being the spy
you
thing.
Didn't win.
The Hux being a spy thing is kind of perfect because it's both super terrible and stupid. But then the movie goes, that's stupid, terrible.
And then he says...
characters literally go, what?
Yeah.
Huh?
And then he says, I don't give a fuck. Right? I hate this asshole.
I hate Kylo so much.
And you're like, yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
And then he gets it. Mm-hmm. He gets it, like, unceremoniously, like, in a second.
Yeah. Like, you're on the right side of this battle. You're on such the right side of it that, like, you will even... Like, your anger and hatred is so thorough that you will double-cross your own side, right? Okay.
I think that they hit a really good middle ground between the flashy lightsaber shit and the heavy lightsaber shit. I thought all the times they hit their laser swords together looked really cool. I think the part where they fought in the ocean was... I think that whole sequence was fantastic.
Yeah, and they also did not go... So there's a whole thing about lightsabers in general where it's like, look, are you going to go Clone Wars or are you going to go A New Hope? Yeah. What do we want here?
And
right?
they split the difference.
And then you go, okay, what else can you do? And it's like, well, we can do Ray Park. I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
But then we also have Revenge of the Sith. I'm like, no.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? So only villains do that. So yes, they did split the difference in a pleasing way.
I think that the fight in the ocean on the ship, it's like I actually really liked it because like it accidentally I'm gonna say it's an accident because it was a double reversal of the two other fights that it is exactly like. It is Obi-Wan and Anakin on the lava planet, and Obi-Wan wins.
Yeah.
And it's reversed, and then it's the reverse of the fight in Return of the Jedi in the same exact location. I'm like, okay, that's thematically appropriate, and this character's winning, and then this character wins.
Echoes.
Yeah, Rey wins, but she actually lost.
Everything is an echo.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that worked.
Okay, here's what else, right? I was super, like, worried about what the Wonder Twin powers
were going
to turn into.
Yeah.
And in the end, I'm like, okay, you did some stuff that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
You know? The teleporting scenes of
the fight where the mask falls was really cool.
And I'm like, okay, that's interesting stuff. And then using this like reality warping ability to literally teleport items.
Yeah.
In a weird way that it's like, okay.
I think the moment of the movie that I enjoyed the most by far was the 1 second moment where Adam Driver pulled the lightsaber out of his head.
Sure.
And then went,
Sure.
I'm like, okay, great.
But then you have to go, what does that lead to? And it leads to ultimately just, oh, cool, you guys are an extra strong battery.
Yeah.
That's all it meant.
Yeah.
Right? In the end, it didn't really go anywhere that, like, it went there and it went somewhere else, which is we have such an emotional connection to each other that we can almost, like, ignore everything that happened. Where
I think that's let's see. I liked C-3PO. I liked the fight in the water. I like Adam Driver's post face turn character.
And I have one other thing that I think is really cool.
I like how Billy D. Williams managed to be alive and was on set looking for booze, and they managed to film him accidentally saying lines. That you should have hung out with Billy D. Williams and had him re-audition or something, and then been like, no, and cut him back out of the movie.
Look, they can. Here's
it's unbelievable that he's in the movie.
You could tell from the first one that this trilogy was going to be about killing off the old trio,
Yeah.
one by one, and then you got the head pump fake with the Leia in the last one. But it's like, okay, Solo dies in the first one. You go, they're gonna kill one of the three every movie.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen, right? He comes in as the fourth a little bit there, and Chewie's hanging out. But anyway, what I wanted to say was,
Hey, you guys have some booze?
here's
Like,
and one thing that I did like, and this is just to do with that final battle, and actually to do with the thread that we talked about, where you go, Rey, your parents were no one.
you're nobody.
In the end, when Palpatine is like, let's end the story of rebellion,
Yeah.
and the actual rebel army fighting him are literally just anyone who flew in with their random ships.
Yeah.
The idea that anybody carries the flag in this moment, not just people wearing the orange jumpsuits,
Yeah. Fair enough. All
is
right.
cool, right? And that's an important thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this Empire and the First Order and the Final Order and everyone has been under the thumb of these assholes for a long time.
Yeah.
And an organized rebellion has been wiped out and regrouped and fucking
And wiped out
whatever.
again.
But at the end of the day, they called in regular people to go fuck those assholes.
I'm done with this shit. Great.
So
okay,
I thought
fine.
that was a good point.
It was the all the warriors fucking moment.
Right? And that, to me, is where your parents were no one.
Yeah.
That's that thread followed.
Somehow managed to continue.
If they built around it, it would have led to more of that.
Now let's segue into the bad.
Oh, boy.
Because the parents were no one thread is the most emblematic problem. Because your parents were no one gets turned into your parents were Emperor Palpatine's kids.
So, step one, JK, the dead speak. Right? And you have the trailer where, no one ever really dies, of course.
Yeah. A line that's not in the movie.
But the idea of Palpatine
both of
being
them, fuck
there,
it.
right, was
Keep the force strong.
immediately upsetting.
Yeah,
And then,
because it's like, oh, fuck this.
you.
Oh, Vader? You know the 6-movie arc about Vader? How that actually meant nothing?
And the idea of echoes that we talked about, where you're like, echoes, look, there's a wedge, echoes of things, the lightsaber location,
Yeah.
battle locations, right? And then at some point you're like, but you stand on your own 2 feet to a degree, right?
Yeah.
And I felt The Force Awakens did that, and that's why I liked it. And here you're like, no, literally Palpatine.
Again.
And you go, oh my God, you had nothing. And Snoke became nothing.
Smoke was invalidated. Snoke went from being the thing I was most interested about to being less than a footnote.
I can't believe I've never seen a character in a story get more irrelevant with every scene.
It's crazy.
The first time you see Snoke, he's a giant head.
He's like a because okay.
He's not a sorry, he's a giant.
I know
throne.
people like to be like, can you please talk about this without referencing Red Letter Media? But there is one thing that Mike Stoklasa pointed out in one of his reviews that I loved about Snoke, which is the lightsaber shit, and Yoda has a tiny lightsaber, and he makes the joke of like, what if the Emperor was a 100-foot tall Centaur Gorgon?
Yeah.
The fuck is Yoda gonna do with his little lightsaber?
Yeah.
The coolest moment in my mind in the
Would
new
have
shit
been
is like, what if Snoke was like 100 feet
a
tall?
giant Sith.
And he's not extra forcey. He's just fucking big.
Because there is a race that happens to be this big in the world, right? It got your brain juices flowing.
Like,
totally.
you're not gonna fight him with your laser sword.
It got the brain juices going. I never would have imagined a Titan as a Sith. It made me wonder, okay, this is a new problem that requires bold solutions.
Yeah.
Right? Brave new solutions are required, as Chappelle would
It
say.
means that the final confrontation with Snoke isn't going to be a lightsaber duel. It's going to be
else.
something weird.
Yes.
And then you see it's a hologram and you're like,
Yes.
oh. Like
And-
before even the end of the scene.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because in my brain it's also, I'm like, I want to talk about this movie and do this spoiler cast with as few RLM quotes as possible, because I don't need that to elaborate on any given point.
I just wanted to point that out because it's like, that was a joke that actually became interesting.
And
then they ruined it.
in the first scene where you see that, I really went like we were. I didn't. Wasn't there a lean back?
I think we saw it together.
And we went,
oh,
what
he's
the
big.
fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
What is this, right?
And then the hologram flickers out, and you're like, fuck, I don't care anymore.
No, it wasn't even. No, it was the next scene.
It was the next scene?
And then it keeps getting worse until eventually he's sitting on a throne and he just dies in the TLJ.
Yeah, he's this big bad, and they trick him.
And he gets killed for no reason, whatever. And then in this, he's in a fucking...
They show you a jar full of snow.
jar
like he's
full
a pickle.
of them. And you're like, this is the most pointless thread ever. Why did we even go down this road? Right?
And the answer is because it was directed by two arguing directors.
Who were having a conversation with their movies.
Yeah. Because one goes, no, this is Star Wars, and the other goes, no, this is Star Wars.
So JJ picks up the fucking ball and goes, there's no time. We would have established perhaps a returning Palpatine in the second movie if I was on it.
We would have done a little hint.
But we don't, so
fuck it.
the
Fortnite.
dead speak. Right?
Fortnite's going to tell you.
What happens in Fortnite?
Okay, you know the beginning of the movie is the title crawl, the Emperor, the dead speak.
The dead speak.
Yeah, the transmission is in Fortnite.
He says
Palpatine comes, I'm alive, and I will have big Sith revenge. And it's like, oh, wow. So Fortnite is now replaced The Last Jedi as required viewing.
Gotta raise the stakes. He's got his big army of Star Destroyers. Every one of them is a star killer.
All right, so horrible.
Stakes raised.
Holy shit.
Stakes raised.
That is so awful.
Stakes raised.
It's raised too high.
Yeah. So
it's raised way too high.
So did you have? I don't know. And be honest. Did you have the moment where when that happened and you went, oh God, we're just blowing up another planet again? It doesn't even mean anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then you go, because you're like, okay, the first time it happens in the first fucking movie, you go, oh my God,
that's
and
crazy.
then it happens in Force Awakens, and you go, oh, they're doing it again, right? It's the same, it's a threat on that level, and by the time you see it here, you're just like, oh my God, again. We're just going to do this every time now, right? And then in that moment where you also go, holy shit, the entire battalion has them. This is how they... It's supposed to be a moment of, this is an insurmountable force. However will we defeat them? And right away, I'm talking the second, there's the line that says, every one of these ships is equipped with a Starkiller gun or whatever. My brain goes, and there's one connected weakness that can destroy all of them.
Yeah.
There's going to be a single point.
So this is going to be really nitpicky. This is going to be really, really nitpicky. So apologies, because Star Wars is a science fantasy series, right?
Yep.
It's got magic. But when those ships come out of the water and they say the fleet, and the fleet of Star Destroyers, which are multiple kilometer long ships, reaches all the way to the horizon, all I could think of is fucking come on. Like,
okay.
And they were like, and they were all, there must be, in that last scene outside of the camera's view, there must be 1 million people or more in those ships. And they were all being built under the ocean of this unreachable planet.
So you're hoping for a reveal of a KOTOR star factory?
No.
That allows replication of these ships or
that
something?
they'd say the fleet and there'd be like 10 ships.
Dude, honestly, I'm like in that moment where you're like, oh, like I'm so in that moment where remember the movie was fucking booking it, right? It was blitzing the pacing at you.
Can't get to new scenes fast enough.
It shot that shit at you so fast that it's like, okay, you know what? Whatever. He was planning in the skirts all the time, and he was in the unzone. And in the unzone, right, the limits of the galaxy, he was going to other places and getting people.
Woolie.
He was gathering people not from the known galaxy, but from the who knows?
Woolie.
Mystery, secret Sith mystery.
No, because it's a problem. Because the first, they establish the First Order is one order of the former Imperial Legion that stuck around. The real diehards, right? Yeah. Their recruitment is no longer clones. It's not even recruits. It's stolen orphans. That's how they recruit new stormtroopers.
Correct.
This means, and they have, old Imperial shit, so they got Starkiller Base, which, by the way, the fucking game, Fallen Order, establishes that was being worked on for decades prior to the original series.
What, the
Starkiller Base.
Oh, okay.
One of the levels in that game is Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
But before it works.
Sure.
But it's like, okay, this is the resources that the First Order has, right? The Emperor on this shadow planet,
we've been pulling people in and using Jedi mind tricks to make everyone forget about the lost people.
The fucking secret planet has had millions of people working.
We made everyone forget about all those people.
The Empire at its height in the original trilogy had to haul ass for years to make half of one Death Star.
I'm so able to put the numbers logistics out of my brain because of whatever hand wave explanation
I would be able to do that under any circumstance other than every light in the sky is our enemy.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Let me phrase it a different way.
The ship stretched to the horizon.
Let me phrase it a different way. Those problems are dumb in an off-camera way.
Yeah,
and there are so many on-camera problems.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
Force lightning, a single person's use of the Force, no matter how ridiculous, becoming so strong as to affect planet-wide change.
Now, wait, hold on. All right? So, one, the Force itself.
Yeah.
Right? How strong is Rey?
Pretty strong.
No one's ever pulled a ship out of the sky.
Yeah, that's new.
Right? No one's ever... People are floating and flying and wall running in the...
And holding up big stuff.
In Clone Wars and Rebels and shit all the time, but no one's ever floated like the way she's floating, right?
I don't think so. So she's pretty strong. She's up there.
And... then you there's a whole...
So we've once again, a lot of Force juice is just genetic. It's just your family.
I feel like when you're seeing the craziest shit possible is Yoda in the prequels, like fucking flopping off the walls.
Yeah, wow.
Going wild and shit. And then they did want to tone it down. But the lightsabers toned down, but the Force juice got cranked
way up,
and to a point where you're kind of like, well, if you're gonna do this, I've seen other Star Wars with this Force juice being this aggressive.
Mace Windu versus the robots in Clone Wars is the one.
So then you just kind of wonder, why not do this all the time?
Why aren't we lightsaber fighting?
Why aren't you always like this? Right? What is that? Because it's like, well, to some degree, thinking too hard about the Force, right, is also pointless because they're supposed to just be it's supposed to be about the characters and their ideologies being represented through physical magic, right?
Yeah, except it's also family, it's also genetic, and it's also
it's also a plot
it's
hole.
Bestowed.
And it's also like what causes you to accidentally zap the thing and blow up Chewie, who you can then not detect his presence.
Even though you can detect his presence in space.
In one scene later, you're like, Chewie, no! But then later on, you know he's on the ship.
Which is much further away.
And much larger.
Than the distance you were on the planet.
Second, in the moment that the ship blows up and it falls down and they go, oh no, we lost him and we lost the dagger, what do we do?
Yeah.
Why not search the wreckage that fell down on the ground?
Well, because there are bad guys coming.
Okay.
There are bad guys coming. Yeah, no, it's a massive fucking plot hole.
Dude, like, literally.
Also, Rey... The reason why people don't like Rey is because Rey gets to do everything for free, right? Everything that everybody else had to earn or at least get fucked up during, Rey gets for free.
Okay, so now we're jumping to another point that I was gonna say. I accepted that for one reason.
I'm gonna get to the Chewie thing. I'm gonna circle back to this.
Okay.
Her fucking up and killing Chewie. And it's like, there's a really good moment where Finn's like, it's not your fault. And she's like, it's totally my fault. Yeah, it is. It's totally your fault. Okay, fine. She finally horribly fucked up. Luke went.
Also, Chewie unceremoniously blows up in a ship that falls.
But like Luke went to the planet too early and got his hand cut off. Anakin did all sorts of stupid shit. Got turned into a robot. Fine. Rey finally made a horrible fucking mistake and has to. No, wait, no. Chewie's fine.
Never mind.
Fuck, man. That sucks.
And here's the thing, right? You kind of felt it was wrong in the sense that it was so unceremonious, right? But it could have been filmed in a way where you see Chewie and he's like, "Arr!" And then it's like, oh no, it's so much more tragic because of how it was shot, right? If they wanted to have that moment matter. But yes, a reflection moment of things going bad turned wrong. Also, she gets a double skate pass because Kylo's like, yeah, I made you do that.
It was me.
I twisted you. I showed up. I flew all the way up to you to make you go, Palpatine.
It was me.
Okay, so that idea of her being OP has been from the get-go. Everybody's going, wow, she's fucking OP, right? There was something I held on to as a believable reason why she was OP, because of the explanation that the Force is balance.
Yeah.
And that the less Jedis there are,
they juice up.
The more juice you get.
Sure, fine.
The Sith are doing things like getting rid of each other.
Specifically for that exact reason.
For the juice ups.
Yeah.
Every time I kill you, we all get better.
The fucking rule of two and all that shit.
Exactly, right? So the idea of the juice up, and including the line itself, which is thousands of Jedi live within
the whole Sith live inside me, yada yada.
Right? That makes me go, well, that's why she's so fucking juiced.
Right.
So I expected that to then...
But that's not the reason. The reason is she's Palpatine's grandkid.
and I expected that... the idea that, like, everything is riding on the one user of the Force that is actually not just Force adept, but like properly trained, or not properly trained, but because Finn is Force adept.
Yeah.
Leia, right? But
it's the first Jedi we've seen in a while.
But she's a Jedi, so you're thinking, okay, she's got all that big number. Yeah. The galaxy's number is no longer divided across all of them.
It's got one big number and one big number.
She's the only funnel. Therefore, the ridiculous is expected. But then that doesn't actually end up being the case. Furthermore, when she's standing there and it's like it doesn't amount to much besides a couple of voices and her standing with the two lightsabers, you're like, I thought the idea of the thousands would be represented in another way, but it wasn't.
The bit. Okay, so we establish a couple things. One, Palpatine could have totally turned Luke into dust in that fight and got blindsided by Vader because the lightning shit he's got is out of control, right? Two, Mace Windu, really smart. That hold the lightsaber up in front of Force lightning shit. Yeah. Wow, that's effective as fuck. If only Mace had carried 2 lightsabers.
Why didn't he stop shooting lightning out? She said she wasn't going to kill him.
Yeah.
So then she blocks his lightning, and then he kills himself.
Yeah, so Palpatine...
why didn't he just stop?
Palpatine is smart enough to foresee the future, create clones, build 6 zillion ships, etc. Not smart enough to stop shooting Force lightning after it already horribly mangled him a few decades earlier.
Same situation.
Same exact situation, but this time it worked because
the spirits of Luke and
Leia. Because nothing.
So that's what I'm saying, right? It's like, his thing is, hey, guess what? I want you to kill me because then you get to be the evil because you're doing it out of the wrong reasons.
And I'll inhabit your body.
Or something. And then it's like, okay, well, the solution can't be to not kill him, or can it? Yeah. I don't know. Where are you going with this? And then it turns out the solution is
that was a lie.
Or he's just...
I actually wanted you here so I could use death siphon on you from KOTOR.
Yeah. We got to see KOTOR powers in this movie.
Yeah, we got force healing, we got death field. Death field, that's it.
Death field. Now, those 2 things in particular, I bet you that the death field was actually option select.
Oh.
I think he was like, if she doesn't listen,
then I could suck the force juice out.
and because they're twins, the Wonder Twins, it's the super juice.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, it really did make a weird moment of like, so what was your plan here?
I had 10 plans. I was going to win no matter what.
But what was Rey's plan? I'm going to show up, but I can't kill him. I hope he's dumb enough to kill himself.
I'm going to stop him. I'm going to show him that I'm not him. How? By killing him.
All right, let's back it up.
No, what?
When you're talking about breakneck fucking snap my head back pace editing and storytelling.
It is okay. So if you're listening to the spoiler cast but haven't seen the movie because you don't care, I can show you something that emulates the speed of editing, and that is the Spider-Man cartoon show.
That clip got deleted, by the way.
Fuck!
But someone mirrored it, but you have to go find it. It's not a clear mirror. You have to search specifically for Spider-Man cartoon Carnage Venom, I think, scene. It's not the video originally where it was like this pacing of this cartoon was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But 80 things happens in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So
I've never seen a movie edited like this.
it is wild how little time J.J. Abrams had to set up what was basically, again, its own trilogy, because they had to undo everything that Rian Johnson tried to do. And for all its like good or bad, whatever it is, right? He like they didn't want a running time going over what Disney movie wants a running time to be.
Yeah, it can't be over 2 hours or some shit.
So there was a tall order. There was a tall order here.
They filmed all those transitory shots and then they cut them the fuck out. I feel it.
But everything in that fucking first half,
The first half is crazy.
like I've never seen blatant fetch quest to the fetch quest, like threading.
We got to get to the dagger.
No, we have to get to
The
planet.
That has the
The planet of the planet of
that'll unlock C-3PO's memories.
the planet celebrating in the way that India does with the colored smoke.
Yeah.
And then you're like, on this planet, what are we doing? And then on the planet, then we'll maybe find this key, but we're looking for the dagger will lead to the other planet.
The film's plotting of event to event, planet to planet, is more straightforward and less nuanced than actual Knights of the Old Republic, which is a video game.
Land on the planet, fall through the sand, find the dagger.
Lucky, huh?
Take the dagger, get the dagger instructions, convoluted side. Then we get the location, go to the location, hold the dagger up to the geography of the crashed ship.
Wow, that Sith assassin really had a lot built into that dagger, huh?
Who made this dagger?
J.J. Abrams.
When?
Before the movie.
Like, what Sith talker, what person speaking Sith in the fall of the Star, the fucking Death Star,
He's just a Sith fanboy, man.
and happened to stand on the X
Yeah.
of the cliffside from that angle in particular? The dagger.
Yeah, well, hey, he uses the Force. An explanation that has become less convincing every time they do it, to the point where the movie even made fun of it back in Force Awakens. Remember when Finn goes, "Oh, we don't got a plan, but we'll use the Force," and Han Solo goes, "That's not how the Force works."
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. According to the later movies.
Yeah. Literally, just Force will figure it out for you. Shut up.
It's all destined, man.
Like, and then turning the dagger into this, and the locator, and he pulls out, you pull it, like, it's so fucking contrived. That dagger, everything about that dagger
Is the worst.
Is the absolute worst.
And it's the entire first half of the movie.
It's everything they have to do.
Yeah.
So fetch to the fetch to the fetch. Okay. Yeah. Then you get God, what was her name? Zori Bliss. Right? Helmet girl.
Oh, the one that people thought was going to be Mara Jade?
Helmet girl.
Yeah.
And you're like, Helmet girl, okay, you're cool. What's up? Your new Boba Fett rules, right? We're gonna try for the third time to bring in a masked unknown character who's gonna like give you the Boba Fett mystery and hope that it takes off, right? Phasma kind of set up, didn't really go places. No worries. Here's another one.
Here's another one.
Okay, so Zori is established as God damn it, fuck you, and you're like, all right. And because
Next one scene over.
because we don't have the second movie,
One scene over.
yo, can we make out? Nah, but here's the most valuable item I could possibly ever own in my life that I've spent God knows how long acquiring.
It's like
a
10
magic
minutes later.
coin that gets me onto not just a First Order ship, a Final Order ship.
It's like 10 minutes later. It's like
Like, what? From fuck you die to here's everything? I like the funny look that he gives her at the end.
yeah, that was really good.
Where he goes, and she's like,
No.
And you're like, all right. You got it. That's funny. But her character showing up and having no time to get...
And then she's there at the end. She's like, I finally showed up. And I'm like, who are you again?
Yeah. like everything that is not her introduction and her handing him the coin has been removed. And that's all she can possibly do. You know? So...
Oh man, I just saw a thought from the chat that we'll get into later.
Okay,
at
so
the end, which is she exists to make Poe look less gay. Which we'll get into that later.
there's not much to get into.
Yeah,
It's pretty straightforward. People are like, "Oh, Poe's got a big bromance going on with Finn? Is anything
What's up?
going on there?"
and Disney goes no,
And then
Boyega and the actor go, yeah, we want to fuck butts, but Disney
Rose
was like, nah.
And he's like, "Yo, I'm wearing your jacket, bro." And then Rose was like, "Yo, let's make out." And he's like,
no.
"No way, friend."
And then it's like, hey, Poe, you're general, right? Yeah, you want to be my co-general, bro? Yeah. But no, cut that part out.
try hug.
I have never seen a movie so effortlessly create a hardcore, super intense gay romance and then go, nah, man. This is what causes fan fiction. This is what causes fan fiction to happen.
You see, the thing about it though is that there's always plausible deniability because it's never ever hard confirmed setup.
I think
it's all in your brain, man.
I think it's super pathetic that there were articles getting written that it was, hey, Rise of Skywalker is going to have the first gay kiss in Star Wars. And it's they cut in the ending montage to two chicks kissing, and then they cut away. And I'm like, that's going to get cut out of international releases.
You mean the one where the kiss is happening in the center frame where you can edit in a big CG China?
No, you just cut the bit because they cut to it and then cut away.
Oh, I was thinking of a big CG alien holding a Chinese flag.
So, yeah, okay. So you do that, but then when you have
a big CG blocking.
Then when you have the actors in the movie on the fucking tour trying to promote it, going, yeah, we kept trying to make it so that our characters could fuck butts because we have this really intense bromance going on, and Disney kept going, no,
don't. You can't change the running time, man. Keep the running time the same.
It's
just
fucking
put in
pathetic.
A big old just drool coming out of its mouth and weird googly eyes.
It's never been more
and it just
obvious
goes,
that this kind of shit is pandering because you accidentally created one that wouldn't have been pandering to anybody, and everybody would have gone great. And you said, no, not that one.
You got shook.
We want the one we can cut out.
Got shook.
It's fucked up.
Hey, Ray, I got something to tell you.
What?
Nothing.
It wasn't going to be that I love you, which Boyega just went on Twitter today and was like, he was not going to tell Ray he loved her.
Also, what he was going to do is simply say something like that to make sure you think that it's not about Finpo. No Finpo, because I said that line. And I did the head. So we have these small gestures just to go, hey guys. No.
There's a fucking. Yeah. I mean, RL Elma, yeah, be mad. But there's a joke that Mike makes that Uhura in Star Trek exists to show that Spock and Kirk have the not gays, and it's happening again. It's like there are moments being added to make the two characters that are obviously gay for each other less gay. And it's like, come on.
Honestly, at the end of the day, it could have just been like they could have just not had those lines.
They could have just
not went anywhere and just left it as is, right? But like the moment where you do have that like extremely editable kiss,
it's fucking
is so like, but you want to say this, and JJ probably fought
Yeah, probably.
for that,
Probably everyone in the production fought.
and that was the best they were gonna get from a bunch of people that wanted to make sure that their
They're like,
international like money didn't
No way.
get fucked with. Maybe. Anyway,
Wooly, if they had kissed, if Finn and Poe had kissed, that would set up a gay black Jedi in the future. And China's not gonna deal. That's your new hero for the next movie, is a gay black Jedi. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
what could have been? What could have been? You're saying that the character that was edited out of one of the posters
Yeah. Or
would have had a confrontational moment that could not be removed, that could not be cut around.
I feel bad for Daisy Ridley because this part isn't her fault, but like Boyega kills it and is just so charming, and
Yeah.
all I can think about the whole movie is like, fuck, I wish Finn was the main character.
Look, they end on a tri-hug, and they end in, and things are done in such a way where all they want is implication. They don't want to follow through on threads, because everything needs to have its plausible deniability. Everything needs to be enough open-ended
Yeah.
so that you don't have to worry about it, right? With the exception of Rose, who she tried, and she got fucking booted. But hey, she, like, people are saying it's the Jar Jar treatment, but I disagree, because like she showed up and actually had lines,
Yeah.
and did things.
Jar Jar's, she's not responsible for the death of billions like Jar Jar is.
Like, you actually see her running on the final battle and
Yeah.
whatever, you know. Anyway, okay, so I had a random small one where I was like, but remember when we talked about the bowcaster?
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about why Chewie uses the bowcaster
Yeah, because he's fucking huge.
and why other people don't?
Because they're not fucking huge.
Okay, so what happened?
They used it and it was no problems.
So then why
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
why are
Shut the fuck up.
bowcasters, which are the strongest and biggest shooting laser things,
Which actually gets established. Like, it shoots down people in one, like, easy.
it's so much better than every other blaster. Rey has no problem using it on her way running back,
She's using the Force.
holding all of Chewie's shit.
She's using the Force.
Oh, okay, got it, okay.
You know what? So, Star Wars isn't cool with gay black Jedis, but you know what is cool? Implied incest.
Or literal,
Or literal.
depending on how far
back
back
in
you
the,
want
back
to
in
go.
the day
How
it
far
was
back you
literal.
want to go?
But now it's implied incest. So Kylo and Rey have their love death kiss, right? Which a woman in my theater, when they kissed, screamed, like with glee, like, finally, ah, you know, that kind of thing. And then Kylo fucking fades away in a bit so funny that my theater burst out laughing because it looked like shit. It looked like a joke. But here's the deal, right? You know how Anakin's an immaculate birth?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how Palpatine
Made
starts
it-
going on about how,
Make it
yeah,
happen.
Sith could even create life.
Yeah.
Remember how that was like a little baby theory?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you get to this movie and you see Palpatine making clones like it's no big deal,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so Anakin was manufactured. So Anakin is...
I didn't even think about that, because I assumed he just midichlorian
Sure, but
midichlorian
Anakin
the baby
is
into the
manufactured from Palpatine's Force powers,
or he used the Force to take a little teaspoon of jizz
right?
and go whoop.
Sure. All right. Guess what? That makes Darth Vader Palpatine's son. That makes Leia Palpatine's granddaughter.
Adoptive.
No.
It's not
Literal.
his own. It's not from his own.
If it's the Force, then it's the Force,
Wait,
man.
that's too much of a stretch.
Whatever,
That's
man.
too much of a stretch.
The point is, this is a big fucking creepy family squabble. And then they kiss at the end.
These are two very close families, but they're not the same family.
like we can argue.
that's a stretch.
I mean, nothing's super.
Here's what I will say.
There's nothing super explicit, so we can argue, but it's too close. It's way too close.
I don't follow that at all. But what I will say about this is, remember how we were just talking about how ambiguous everything is?
Yeah.
The one thing that should have been ambiguous was actually chosen to be a full-on fucking tonguey makeout sesh. When I'm like, that moment where they're like that, I'm like, because of the connection they shared, that should have been the forehead touch,
Yeah.
right? That should have been we've been through so much, we've been inside each other's heads,
And it should be implicit.
right? And we get that. And you now brought me back.
Yeah.
But you still blew up a couple of planets and murdered all my friends, though. So it's not like I love you or anything, Babaka.
Remember that first scene where the first scene Kylo's in the series in which he orders a bunch of stormtroopers to just murder a bunch of people for no reason?
Or the one
And
after
the
that?
one that makes Finn freak out and
Yes.
quit?
Yeah.
That's still the same guy.
Or the one that fucking, again, cracks the planet, or the other one that cracked the other planet.
So...
And you go like, okay, no, I know he's having his little doubts and all that stuff. And that would have been the perfect moment. Because we're talking about fucking Sasuke just now, right?
I was talking about Kylo.
Yeah, we were, so, and you're just like, that would have been where you do the, like the fucking end of Pacific Rim hug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those like, okay, look, it doesn't always have to be that. I was literally looking for the fucking... the head. Just don't kiss him. That's not where we're at with this.
No.
And then they go. What am I thinking of? Where the two heads slide together and then the tongues just.
Oh, I don't know, but I know the
Clone High.
Clone High.
Clone High, right? Fucking
I've seen something else do
JFK and Cleopatra leaning forward, going, and their tongues go. So you're like, fuck off. Everything else is ambiguous when it doesn't need to be.
Except for that part!
And the worst thing that you should have made ambiguous, you go in fucking heavy
You know
detail
what would have been better? Fuck it. I'm just start changing shit in the plot. Palpatine comes back. Guess what? That sucks right away.
Immediately.
Right away.
Immediately.
You know what? And then you turn and Palpatine's like just hooked up to a fucking thing and he looks exactly the same. That sucks. You know what would have made that even 1% better? And it's really stupid.
Yeah.
It's dumber than anything in the movie, and I genuinely think it would have improved it. If the cloak fell off during the scuffle, and it's like he's just a head with like one arm. Like, you remember the RoboCop remake?
RoboCop scene.
Remember the RoboCop remake
scene,
where they pull him apart and
Body horror.
And he's two lungs,
Yeah.
one arm and a head?
Yeah.
Palpatine's fucked, right? And it's all bullshit, and he's like, really, really, and like...
Well, I mean, the whole, literally, how did he survive, shut up, there's no time, is one of the fucking, like...
He died harder than anyone ever.
There's blue fucking energy just shoots out of the explosion, you know, before everything blows up, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's like, nah, shut up, there's no time. Okay, fine. I liked the hooked up to the wire look.
The GLaDOS shit?
I liked because it's GLaDOS and it's Megatron and Beast Machines.
Yeah, I liked it right up until they pulled out and showed that it goes up like 1,000 feet.
I also like the random
cultists.
They're not Sith, but they're worshippers.
Yeah, the cultists.
The cultists. That was cool. Whatever. I thought they were going to reveal themselves to be clones.
I also thought that.
But it didn't go that place.
No, they weren't.
Whatever. Man,
that RoboCop...
the kiss. Here's another reason why the kiss sucks.
Let's hear it.
Because it turns those moments we were talking about with the gray into extra. Now, it was never even remotely about that.
It was romantic.
It was all the reaching out to each other and the staring and the longing and the fighting and the arguing.
And the Swallow.
It was all just
She saw Ben Swallow.
it was just fucking
And she wanted Ben Swallow to get Swallow in her holo.
It was puberty loins
Thank you.
getting all heated up.
Thank you.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was puberty loins. Crotch fruit.
Yeah.
That's all they wanted.
And that's why Jedi are not supposed to love.
You know? And you're just like, you fucking what? Hey, wouldn't it have been interesting to find out when Palpatine decided he was going to get him some ass? And how he went about that?
You mean the character that can create life at will?
That had a family.
What?
Had a family.
A family of non-Force users?
Or they rejected him, whatever.
Well, I think it's been established that
Nah, it's going to happen.
If you got the juice,
yeah,
you're like you would go to get stabbed and
Sure.
then enter like.
And whether it was his son,
How
or
did
his,
some punk bitch just stab Palpatine's kids?
whether it was his son or his daughter, they didn't specify.
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
It was like, nah, he killed them though, because the throne would have been made for them, but I guess it wasn't.
No, it's made for you.
Whatever.
No, it wasn't. It was made for me.
If you don't want it. But what? wait. Hey, Ray, do you think maybe the throne, if you want it? JK though.
Unless.
Okay. What did Leia do?
Die.
That's passive. What did she actively do?
Nothing. Oh, she sent out a force to her kid and said, "Hey kid, remember that I exist," and died.
And that was everything.
Yeah, he remembered that his mom existed. And to the people who were like, "Nah, man, she conjured Han Solo," that is so explicitly not how that works.
So
and he shows up after Leia dies.
So if she were to actually die out in space,
Yeah,
in the movie before this one,
yeah,
what would have changed?
nothing. So here's how this happened. This is my assumption. Leia was supposed to be the person to talk him down, but Carrie Fisher died.
She was going to do the Luke.
No, she
Astral
was
project?
she was gonna astral project, and after the fight, and be like, Ben, come on. But Carrie Fisher died, and it had to be one of his parents, so they brought Harrison Ford back in to do it instead.
Because okay, probably I can believe that.
Because the fact that Han fails to talk him down the first time,
Yeah,
shows that Han couldn't do it.
Khan couldn't do it.
So it should have been like,
Yeah.
But what are you fucking supposed to do?
Yeah.
You're supposed to CG in young Leia in a training fight
Yeah,
that looks
yeah,
like goddamn shit.
Wearing all white. End of Rogue One. They already had CG Leia.
Hey, here's part of Leia's motivation that makes no fucking sense at all. You ready? All right. I'm training. I'm becoming a Jedi. Vroom, 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 vroom.
Gets pretty good at it.
I see a vision that at the end of my Jedi training
Kid's gonna die, dude.
will be the death of my son. I will now stop. Okay. Who does she tell that to?
Luke?
Right. You mean the guy who had a vision that told him to kill her son after the end of her Jedi training? Doesn't make any fucking sense.
They could have just
Talked
He
once.
could have just said it. She had the vision of the thing that he was gonna already fucking thinking the thing to do.
It's so fucking stupid.
But he already had the thing. Oh no. Oh,
That's fucking stupid, isn't
Good
it?
catch.
Right?
Good catch, dude.
And also, it's like here's the thing.
She was
Characters have visions in Star Wars all the time, right? I think it has universally failed for everyone, but they all tried to do something. Leia's solution to her seeing a vision was, no, I'm going to quit.
But I'm gonna lead.
I'm going to lead, but I'm going to not empower myself. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why do I not empower? Because I saw the death of a loved one
And
in
I
the
want to
future.
change it.
All right. Rey, you're seeing visions of yourself becoming the Emperor. What should you do to deal with it? Continue training up and being a Jedi.
No, actually,
It's the total opposite solution.
no. But then she goes to the island and says, "Fuck this."
Yeah, and then Luke says, no, don't
Yeah.
fuck this.
Yeah.
It's
So-
the total opposite solution.
By outside influence.
Yeah. Also, I think it's fucking dumb that Luke Skywalker, man who's like, my lightsaber, I don't give a shit, when she's about to do the same fucking thing.
He had a change of heart.
And that's the most interesting part of the movie, because Luke's lines right there are fucking spitting poison at Rian Johnson. Because Luke straight up goes, I was wrong in the last movie. I was completely wrong. The Jedi are important. It's not time for the Jedi to end. The Jedi have to be forever for the toys.
So like the entire
It's crazy.
And now that line he said about where JJ in the interview said him making a story that was meta where he says nothing matters, things don't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Is ballsy,
Yeah.
but necessary to do what we did, which is just pretend Control Z, all of it. And here's the thing.
It's wild.
I don't hate the idea of saying fuck the Jedi.
I don't. I thought it's the best part of, like,
I don't hate that at all.
We were just talking mad shit about Last Jedi because that movie sucks, but that idea is fine.
I've never
That's totally fine.
in the entire trilogy and then prequel trilogy, I never once would have thought that the mainline movies would even think about the idea of the Jedi not being up their own asses.
Wooly, I've brought this up twice before, and I'm sorry to bring it up again, but it's so appropriate. In KOTOR 2, you talk to a guy who describes the war that happened in KOTOR 1, and he describes it as the Jedi Civil War. And you go, no, it wasn't. It was between the Sith and the Jedi.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? Whatever. I don't care. No one cares.
The crazy religious assholes.
They're all just crazy religious people with powers and laser swords.
Who the fuck?
What does it fucking matter?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that is a great thing in Star Wars because it's like, to normal people,
That's everybody.
Everything that happens in this shit is so stupid and philosophical and dumb.
Yeah.
And the idea that the main movies would go, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
This dogmatic opposition of hyper good and hyper evil might not be the best thing.
Yeah.
Great, fine. But then they cowered out.
Yo, that guy just pulled out a lightsaber and chopped a baby's head off with it. Are you a Sith? Nah, I'm a Dark Jedi.
What? What? What?
But isn't that no?
No, it's not.
No? Okay. I thought...
We're in a place right now where all the cool shit in Star Wars is the stuff that has the least oversight. The game, the other game, The Mandalorian, Clone Wars.
I heard The Mandalorian's still going strong. I'm looking forward to continuing to watch it.
The farther you can get it away from like a producer's eyes, the better it is.
So the thing where it's like, oh, look, it's the single point satellite. Fuck the falling through the sand, by the way.
Yeah, that's terrible.
End of story.
How lucky.
End of story, stupid, right?
Usually, I'd give it a pass.
Everyone dies, and that's how we had to go forward.
Yeah.
Yawn had to bite the floor.
Absolutely. What fortuitousness that I brought that exact example up earlier.
I held on to it.
Oh, yeah, you were like, oh, wow, that's actually totally the same thing.
Had to bite the floor so you'd fall through and find your way forward into the plot. Whatever. Of course...
Oh, man, you're making me really hate this movie. I'm liking it.
Of course, there's a single point at which all of these planet crackers are going to fucking be tethered to one weakness because they can't navigate themselves.
Yeah, so...
Even though everyone else was able to navigate there after they got led by one person.
I want to drill down on this, and it's a bigger problem than Star Wars. And that is, if you make your threat too big, the threat stops being scary.
That's my question to you now. My question to you is... So, as established, the moment you see a planet blow up by one of these Star Destroyers, you go, that's just impossibly... like the magnitude of how threatening this is means you can't fix it. Therefore, this is going to be bullshit.
Yeah, so let's...
When's the last time you can think of a threat that was on that scale where it was so unbelievably busted that you're just like, this is not going to be real?
I can't even think of one off the top of my head.
It's because this is the craziest I've ever seen.
You know what? Let's tone it down. You played RE5. Complete global saturation. Wesker's not going to blow up a town or a country. He's going to destroy the entire world. The instant he says he's going to turn the entire world into a goo farm, you're like, well, okay, well, now stakes are gone because we're going to shoot him and he's going to die. If you make your threat too big...
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2?
Doc Ock.
Yeah, Mary Jane will die. And some of the New York Harbor. Okay, I'm threatened. That could happen.
But no. This bomb will destroy everything.
This bomb will destroy...
It didn't have to.
The universe.
It didn't have to. But yet, we had to go there. Right?
So, like...
and I didn't even want to, like... you don't have to grab any... You don't have to go anywhere into MCU for this. Yeah. But it's almost like... The thought is almost like getting that gauntlet on is actually that level. Where you're like, no, he can't actually get it.
Yeah.
Because if he does... Oh, fuck!
Now imagine if in Avengers, it wasn't, I'll snap my finger and half of all life will be destroyed. It's, the universe will end. Once that becomes established, you're like, well, it literally can't happen or else there'd be no more movie.
Yeah.
Right?
His motivation happened to be he wanted to half it.
Right? But, like, let's take Star Wars as a good example of Star Wars. In the first movie, the threat is established that even though there's a galactic empire, blowing up planets is infeasible. So, you make a thing that blows up a planet in a galaxy. Galaxies are big, guys. They're really big. They've trillions of stars, right?
Yep.
But blowing up a planet, that's crazy. That's a game changer. You can fuck people up. That'd be a problem for the future. It's conceivable that they would fail to blow up the thing because the story doesn't end if the Death Star sticks around, right? Empire doesn't have something like that. Death Star comes back in the third one. You're like, that's a little tired, but okay, fine. They're able to rebuild these. That means the Emperor has to go, right? Fine. Starkiller Base, we're edging up against a problem, right? Now we have a Death Star that blows up solar systems. That's a big deal. But you know what no one talks about? It eats suns to do that.
Yeah.
Why do you even need to shoot it?
Yeah.
Just put it next to the
eat
star.
sun. Yeah. Now you're reminding me of the other thing I almost forgot, right? Not like the level of casualness that they throw that out with, right? And here's the problem now. When you're going, all of this battalion has to now, this entire fleet of literal fucking infinity death needs this one point. And this one point is the only weakness it has, right? We built a fucking movie, Rogue One, around getting those plans out.
To blow up the little baby one.
Because of how much of a threat that thing was in scale at the time.
And there we fly down and Finn goes, maybe if we shoot him in the cannons.
Like,
that worked for the Death Star.
It just fucking what? Right? And Luke had to go, the Force is helping me navigate to get the right shot into the right thing in A New Hope. So even then they had to rely on the magic bullshit.
I would like to...
But the scale is so much infinitons higher.
I would like to explain...
And the solution is so much less nuanced.
I would like to give you a piece of Star Wars trivia. I might get a few details wrong, but I can give you the gist of it. Droids become sentient over time in Star Wars. You just wipe them, right? It's fucked up to do, but you just wipe them. They're good, right? That's why C-3PO and R2-D2 have such great personalities.
Where'd
right?
that come from?
Some fucking bullshit.
Over time?
Yeah, over time.
Not right away?
No, not right away.
Huh.
They became more... So you wipe them, right? But some robots, since they're not important, you just don't wipe them ever. Fuck it. Who cares? There's an Imperial droid in the Death Star that is responsible for shielding exhaust ports that gains sentience at some point after the Death Star is built. And on the attack on the Death Star, it discovers that if the Death Star doesn't get destroyed, that it will mean cataclysmic things for the universe. And in an act of grand sacrifice, does not shield the exhaust port that leads to the core, thus allowing Luke to get his torpedoes in it and blow it up.
And I hate the AU. I love the AU. I hate the AU.
EU.
Fuck off. Are you kidding me?
I am so serious.
That is
that's probably
worst stupid shit.
That's probably been decanonized at this point.
Ugh.
But that was put into a technical manual at some point.
Fuck off. You have to, like, why do I have to read that? Why do I have to hear that? Right? Like, on one hand, and on the other hand, someone posts a comic of that one clone that almost became Darth Vader's friend.
And how fucked up that is. And
how cool that comic was.
Yeah.
What a good read.
Yeah.
Right? There's a comic of just like, yo, this one clone trooper
who hung out with Darth Vader a lot
accidentally got left behind and had a whole life and then ended up almost being Darth Vader's friend and then had a disagreement. And there's a whole story of like, yeah, that's interesting shit. And you're telling me some stupid fucking thing had a change of heart at the same time that Luke needed the Force to guide his missile, and that's why the confluence of events was perfect?
Yeah, that's
Fuck
right.
off.
Hey, it was the Force that made that droid sentient.
Hey. Remember the Knights of Ren?
I do.
Remember when they were cool?
No.
Remember when they were a bunch of guys in suits hanging around wearing armor and you're like, oh, those guys look badass?
Everything about the Knights of Ren is hilarious.
And then they show up more times and then you see them standing on a rock looking around. And all I can think about is a bunch of dudes in that suit on a rock when it's hot and the camera dolly just spinning around the rock. Fucking of them looking around. Where are they? One
of the first promo shots ever for Force Awakens was the Knights of Ren standing around looking fucking dope and being like, this is going to be a new enemy force that hangs out with Kylo.
And one of them had a Mando helmet?
And you know what they did? They pointed out, hey, we hired a bunch of the actors and martial artists that were out of Indonesia that worked on The Raid.
Yep.
That worked on all these
Yep.
movies. They're the Knights of Ren.
Yep.
Get ready.
Yep.
And then they teased them for the first movie. And we're like, oh man, it's gonna be fucking crazy when the Knights of Ren go ham on the next movie. And then Rian Johnson was like, I don't care about the Knights of Ren. I don't give a shit. And then in this movie, they're like, well, fucking shit.
Bring them back.
Bring them back.
So now they're walking around corners.
But now they don't have anyone to fucking fight.
So all they're doing is walking around going, it's the Knights of Ren, here we come. They round the corner, they look around, they peek left as soon as Ray runs right, you know, and they're doing Scooby-Doos. They're Scooby-Dooing.
They don't have anyone to fight.
And you fucking watch them, like, and also, are they not the order that Ben took with him when he left?
Yes!
So he fucking had these pseudo-Jedis, right? The only ones without lightsabers.
Yeah.
Because his is all busted because he's
not good at building it?
Yeah, but and they just went, all right, whatever. They're supposed to be Jedi level. They were Jedi students. And the squad of Jedi students
and then he punks them in like a
does
minute.
nothing
Yeah.
the whole time. Lisa, you see the scene where Chewie like walks out and there's one standing there, and then it cuts back and it's not them. It's just a stormtrooper arresting him.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are the Knights of Ren doing? These are also pseudo Jedis
being cut from the movie, probably.
And then they show up at the end and swing their fucking weapons around
and get iced.
And they just nothing.
Oh, man.
Absolutely nothing.
Yo, this movie. You know what? I came in here being middling. Yo, this movie sucks. This movie fucking sucks.
Dude.
Like, the more I talk about it, the more things I'm like, man.
I had to start with the list of the good.
Yeah.
Because the list of the bad is so long.
C-3PO's super good in this movie.
And here's the final thing, ultimately, right? Is like from reading and checking it out there's a lot of people out there that were like, I enjoyed it, I had fun. And it's like, yeah, I can see the part where you just don't think too hard about that stuff.
Yeah.
And go, who cares?
Well, that's how I was when I walked out of the theater. The really crazy stuff stuck out, but I didn't have some, I talked to Paige about it, but like she didn't write down a bunch of fucking notes.
I'm sorry. I had to write them down because
I'm glad you fucking did.
I'm bad at pulling them out in the moment.
Yeah. Well, no, good. Because we got to a lot of stupid shit. I'll tell you what, though. This movie's totally worth it.
Is it?
Yes, because in conclusion, there's one takeaway from this movie that makes it all worth it.
I have one takeaway personally.
All right. I would actually like to hear yours first, if that's okay.
My takeaway is this is what happens when you don't plan a trilogy together.
Yeah, it's really funny because Disney handled Marvel, but Marvel handled Marvel.
This is what happens when you want to leave enough room to wiggle out of a bad decision.
Yeah.
And you get scared every time, so you don't write something together or entrust it together. You write each one individually, hoping to build off the last one and land at a conclusion.
Yeah, they were like, well, it'll work out fine because this is how the original trilogy was made. All different directors,
and a good enough team of writers and directors can build something good off of what we already got. You have to plan. If you don't plan, you're going to fail.
Now, guess what? You know who if you want to pin the blame on any one person, you can actually... Now, a lot of people would like to put that on Rian Johnson for going crazy and doing a weird movie. I'm not going to put it on him. I'm going to shift it over to JJ. Because this happened because when they approached JJ to direct all the movies, he said, I can't do it. I can't handle it. I only want to do the first one. You'll have to give it to somebody else for the second and the third one. And so I'll just sprinkle some ideas. And then he left. He totally could have directed all three movies, and if he did, I bet it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But he didn't,
because
and it's not.
The promises of the unknown within The Force Awakens were all good enough. They're threads that were interesting enough.
They all could have gone
that they could have gone places, and we had this entire SWAT fake-out movie in between.
Oh my God. Somebody pointed out, and they're right. JJ is just a cursed series of letters in Star Wars, isn't it? Jar Jar ruined the Galactic Republic, and now JJ ruined Star Wars.
I mean, but here's when Ryan swerved, right? If JJ decided to, you know what they say on like black ice or whatever, like turn into it.
Yeah, turn into it.
right?
Don't fishtail.
If he turned into it,
It would have been fine.
we could have went somewhere.
But he didn't want to.
No.
And I bet Disney didn't want to either.
Perhaps because of the anger, which I get.
Yeah.
But it still is like the tired Luke, fuck the Jedi, right?
Sure.
Is
sure.
Is totally a way to go, and I'm not against it. But you then go, nah, never mind.
Well, now that movie like this,
And you never mind it. So you never mind the new shit so hard that you go back to Palpatine and shove him into the first second of the last movie.
actually before the first second. Again,
Fortnite.
Palpatine shows up before the start of the movie in Fortnite.
Like, they turned against it so hard with no time.
They course corrected into a lake.
Unbelievable.
So, my takeaway is that it was all worth it, however. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Because in the visual guide to Episode 9 art book that got released, there is the name of a bunch of orders of stormtroopers. And I believe it is the third order is the Revan stormtrooper faction.
Revan.
Which means Revan has been re-canonized.
Yep.
Which means we could potentially see somebody do a decent Knights of the Old Republic movie. And that would get... You know what's funny about space operas? If you fuck it up too bad, you can just jump to a different galaxy or far enough into the future or into the past. And we can call it Knights of the Old Republic Andromeda,
or the Mandalorian,
or the Mandalorian, and you can just do the Revan shit and nail it. And on the downside, I don't want them to ever touch Revan because Revan's awesome. Revan's the coolest.
Remember when there was a plan to recreate the Boba Fett effect?
Yes.
And it didn't work.
And then it didn't work again.
And then the thing that people actually did latch onto was a fucking random stormtrooper who pulled out a baton and goes, "Traitor!"
Oh, you saw that thread. I saw a thread on our subreddit was like, remember when they pimped out Captain Phasma for months, and then this like 10-second shot in a trailer
That's
of this
all
generic stormtrooper?
I remember.
Traitor,
TR8. Tior or whatever.
Somebody in that thread pointed out that dude should have survived that fight and become Finn's actual antagonist because it would have been perfect.
They made a toy where they gave you his real name, which whatever, fuck it, who cares?
It's Traitor.
It's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, the toy has a completely different designation.
But it's Stormtrooper designation.
Yeah. But we wanted TR8R, right? You know. But yeah, man, that thing is perfectly emblematic, right? It's totally not at all what they saw coming. But everyone latched onto it, and the Phasma push didn't work. And I love Brienne of Tarth.
Did you see the deleted scene from Last Jedi?
No.
The scene that is unbelievable that it was deleted?
What?
So you know how a thing falls on her in the movie and she just dies?
She falls in a pit.
Yeah, she falls in a pit and it's lame.
You see her eye for a second and she falls in a pit.
Right, and it's the lamest shit ever?
Sure.
So in the original cut of the movie, she did not fall in a pit. But instead, when Finn is talking to her, he's like, "Hey, bitch, you may be all like, I'm the fucking first order badass, but when I fucking threatened you with a gun, you fucking turned off the shields at Starkiller Base because you're a fucking bitch, traitor, loser, hypocrite."
Wait, doesn't he talk shit to her?
Yeah, he does.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Well, who would believe that?" And then the stormtroopers around her go, and then they move to do something, and then she kills all of them. And then fucking Finn takes time of the confusion to run for a gun, at which point she disables him and she goes, "You were always scum," and he goes, "Yeah, rebel scum," and then he fucking shoots her and then she dies.
Oh.
And it's like Finn gets to fucking like get one over on her
because she like,
because she's a hypocrite.
She breaks.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's like, "Oh, that's awesome."
That would have been so much better.
And it's so why was it cut? It's not even like
that would have been so much better. Like, he actually breaks her on the argument of their stance.
Yeah, go look it up. Captain Phasma's death deleted scene. It's really good.
When you have the
and it even gets like the rebel scum thing in
when
there.
you have the opportunity to have an argument that is goes hand in hand with what's physically happening,
Yeah.
and you can fucking put them together, that's oh man.
You're gonna watch this later, and you're gonna look at it, and you're gonna get super pissed off that it wasn't in the movie.
That sucks.
And all I can think of is that it got cut because they still wanted the chance to push her in the next movie because she just fell in a pit. Because she's the shiny stormtrooper that sells toys.
We won't commit. We need to make sure we can feel that out. We got to feel the wave of where people want to go. Where do people want to go? They don't want Solo. All right, no more Solo. Keep it going. Where do we want to go? They refuse to commit because they were too fucking scared.
Well, and also they're writing. People are given movies, and they're like, "Well, you got to leave it open enough for the next guy. Who's the next guy? Oh, like Jesus Christ!"
And it's Star Wars, so the pressure is higher than ever. It's almost, but I think the problem is because you have impossible expectations, right? And you have impossible expectation fans that are like, "This needs to change my world," the way it did when it first came out. That can never happen. But I think The Force Awakens is the level that I was hoping for all of them. If they all were exactly that level,
they would have been like, it was too safe, but I enjoyed them.
There's a fine ass wrap up of the story, and 1, 2, 3 sucked, but hey, this is I'll take this.
It's really interesting because you have now 3 sets of movies, and they all represent something totally different, right?
Yep.
You have the first series, 4, 5, 6. Bunch of directors, bunch of writers, George Lucas's wife apparently was responsible for nearly all of the editing decisions and fighting back on Lucas's dumb bullshit and be like, no, he's not going to be a car salesman. No, Han Solo's going to be hot, etc. But you had a bunch of people working on it, and they could do whatever the fuck they wanted, and it was a slapdash bunch of shit, but they had total creative freedom, right? And it was great. Now you get to Lucas. And you get somebody who's bad at it and has 1,000,000% creative freedom. Disaster, right? Because his vision sucked. Now you get a slapdash bunch of talented people, but they have no freedom to do anything.
Every word you write on the page, you have the weight of franchise
Bob Iger standing over your
behind you, and you go, every line that every character says, you have to go, how does this affect the franchise? And how do you tell a story that way?
And Bob Iger's there looking at you.
How do you plan a trilogy out in advance with a complete vision and have any fucking movement
like we're talking
to
about
deliver your story?
We're talking about a series that when Star Wars came out, it wasn't even a fucking trilogy. The fucking first movie isn't called Episode 4 A New Hope. It's just called fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah. So that's it. My final takeaway is, all right, it's all done, and this is a trilogy representing what happens when you don't plan together, right? When you stumble through, and this is the same for any show or series or comic or manga or whatever that we like, where they just bumble their way to the finish line instead of actually writing out what you are going to do.
So the One Piece guy, I forget his name, Oda, maybe? He's gone on record. He's got all the big story beats that he wants to hit, and he's got the ending of One Piece in his head. He's written it in his head, and he'll go on little adventures and such, and he wants to. But he has a goal at the end of the road, right? This was a series made with literally no goal at all, other than let's make some Star Wars movies. So it sucks.
We spent a lot of money. Let's make it back.
Marvel, they did such a fucking grand undertaking. With like all these different fucking directors and all these people, but they had to go, we're gonna have a big fucking space thing with this character, this at the end of with Thanos and all that shit. Dude, so everything's got to build towards that.
Look, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be a big slimy alien right in front of the lesbian couple.
Yeah,
it's gonna be holding a China flag.
They're just gonna cut it out.
The eyes are gonna be drooping. It's gonna be barfing, and it's gonna be going, and it's celebrating the rebel win, and it's gonna be just big enough.
Well.
That you can barely see like one of their boots standing from behind him, but it's got a goofy tail that's like slurping spew all over.
I think that because we knew Palpatine was in it before you sat down in the movie, a lot of that disappointment was blunted. But I gotta say, in Star Wars, and apologies for the quote gang who don't like him, but the most depressing thing that I could think of was that Palpatine's behind it all ended up being like every plot in Star Wars. Every single movie now is Palpatine's behind it all.
Everything.
Fucking depressing.
Let's follow the Wesker timeline of what he was up to while he was up to it, shall we? Yeah.
Terrible.
Let's go. Like now his life is like the most fascinating, nonsensical timeline in the world. Because the last thing I want to hear is like,
how are you gonna have a villain now? Because it's established that literally everything bad that happened in 9 movies was because of this one evil wizard.
are the Sith even real?
Yeah.
But are they?
Yeah.
Prove it.
That's tough. That's tough to do.
Prove
Actually, it is.
Prove that the Sith
if
are
you-
not just fucking Darth Sidious.
That's really tough, actually, because shit. Wow, you're ruining Star Wars.
Go.
Um.
Show me in the timeline we have right here.
Well, in the expanded universe.
yeah, no,
there's
I
Darth
didn't say
Bane.
that. I didn't say that. Show me in the timeline we have
Oh, this sucks.
that there is any. We know that there's Jedi.
This really sucks.
We know
ass.
that there's multiple good people.
The Sith will never return. Mace Windu says that. Which
Show me that the Sith even exist. Show me that any sign of it.
That it's not just been Palpatine the whole time throughout all of history.
Grabbing a couple of randos, going, "Hey, you red guy. Hey, old man, your lightsaber's crooked. Come hang out with me."
Oh, this is
Spiky head, you want to hang out with me?
this sucks.
Everyone.
Yeah, you're right, because they've established no new Sith ever after Palpatine.
Who? Like who?
What's to say there were no new Sith before Palpatine?
Hey, robot, you got a real heart? Yeah, hold these lightsabers. Come work for me.
Yeah, that did happen. Yeah, that is real. Wow, it really all comes together when you point it out like
Prove
that.
it! Prove it!
I can't.
Well then, fuck. Let's end it there.
Okay.